Come on, BTC.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It is the 1st of October, Pumptober, as we all want to call it. Are we going to see the 20, 25, 30% gains that everybody has been expecting? A new month, not only that, also a new quarter, October, November, and December. Q4 has always traditionally been somewhat of a positive month, not just for crypto, but for the stock market as well. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, usually we talk about the markets and the X-Files first, snippets from the land of Elon Musk. Then we're going to take a look at the dip, what happened and why. Liberty Bell. More details have been announced about Donald Trump's new project to get into DeFi. We're going to go through that. Arby or Barbie, we're going to take a look at Arbitrum. We're then going to take a look at the Ethena DEX. Ethena could be launching its own DEX. Then we're going to look at XRP dead. Now, again, I don't think it's dead. Some of you think it's dead, which is perfectly fine. We are allowed to disagree. We are all grown-ups. So we're going to have a look at what other people think about XRP. Then we're going to look at early adopters, something that I mentioned to Mags in one of the streams, and I said I would try and get you the bell curve. So end of the show, we're going to go through that. It's not really crypto related as such. It's more about how many people are in crypto right now. So we're going to go through that as well, and then give you my conclusion. And all of that is going to be done in 1 hour. Now, before you go at the end of the show, I'm going to bring up what is happening tonight. So in 8 hours time, we will be streaming again. We are going to do our Chronos night, where we go through Chronos, we look at the news, we look at the projects, who is doing what. We've picked 4 projects to cover, and we have a giveaway. Over $50 will be given away tonight in various different tokens. I will tell you more about that at the end of the show. A few good mornings. I think Solo Sky is here. Tariq, Kishan, Hidden is here. I think Velvet is about. Did I miss anybody, or is that pretty much it? I think that's pretty much it from ones I can see. And we have a poll question of the day. How much are we pumping in October? Over 25%, under 25%. So far, 75% have said over 25. Let's see how we go. Remember, Pumptober doesn't necessarily begin the 1st. I've said it could be the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, but it's certainly going to be at some point this month. Finally then, before we get into the show, if you are new here, bottom left-hand corner, 172,000 followers. We are, I think, on target to hit 200,000 by the end of the year. So, do me a favor, press the follow, press the like, press the subscribe, whatever button you've got, press it and help us to get to 200,000. If we get to 200,000, you are likely to see me sing You'll Never Walk Alone, or cry, or both on a live stream to celebrate. Now then, let's go and have a look at the prices. Before we go any further, market cap is down, but still over 2.25 trillion. The volume is 80 billion. Better. We want to see that over $100 billion a day, most certainly. Now, Bitcoin dominance and Ethereum dominance. We are down to exactly 70%. Now, this is worrying because in all the time we've been doing this year that is, we've been 72%, 72.5%. We're going to break 70%. What does that mean? It means that the alts are running harder than Bitcoin and Ethereum, certainly over the last couple of weeks. So I'm not saying alt season is here. They've got a lot of catch up to do. So let's see how we get on. Now, Bitcoin is coming in just under 64,000. ETH 2642. BNB still under $600. Solana hasn't moved, $156. Good, decent prices for where we are right now. Let's get rid of that advert. Eigenlayer has gone live. Eigenlayer, tomato, has gone live. $4.13. PopCap is up over $1. Dog with Hat, Helium, Phantom, Bonk. Meme coins are certainly pumping. Look at Sui. Remember, Sui has a target in its sights of just over $2, $2.20. It's at 188. It's not stopping. However, I am probably going to sell my Sui bag if this keeps happening. I think it's going to top out. We're at 5.2 billion. Where exactly is it going to go? Beam is up. Injective. ASI is keeping going. 164. We were at $1.05, $1.03 not long ago, and I was sitting here scratching my head saying, what is going on with ASI? Why is it so low? 164. Remember, my target is $5. 164 is nowhere. It's a third of where I think it can get to. And that's not by the end of the bull run, by the way. That's in a very bullish market this year. So if Bitcoin is pushing towards $80,000 by the end of the year, ASI should be $3, $4, $5. Uniswap is up. NEAR is up again, $5.46. I hope you guys were buying NEAR at the lows. I think we went below $4. I was buying it from $6, $5, $4.20. So NEAR is one of my big picks for the bull run. And losers, not many. Again, Athena is down a touch. Jasmy, Conflux, EOS, Tezos, Neo, nothing really down. Nothing to write home about. as far as I can see. So let's move on pretty quickly. We've got a couple of X-Files, but of course, I am not streaming tomorrow. It is my birthday. Because of that, I'm going to celebrate by showing you, wait for it, a dog. Now, you are the dog, okay? Those bears want to come and steal your bags. Chase that bear away, okay? Your job is to stop the bears from being motivated enough to bring the price down. And how do you do that? You hold on to your bags. Why would you sell at the start of Pumptober? You wouldn't. Don't let that bear win, okay? The bear doesn't know what to do. The dog's barking at it. Bear's got a headache and the bear runs off. End of story. Don't let the bear win. Moving on to this is an interesting chart and one which I've been telling you about for a while, and that is the social metrics of crypto. Now, we obviously have a YouTube channel. We're not going to mention the name of it because we're streaming on an exchange, but we do have a YouTube channel. Our traffic is down 90% since May, okay? We hit the all-time high. We hit 73.8, and we've slowly been coming down ever since. Metrics are gone. Retail is not here, okay? Now, we're going to talk about that later on when we talk about early adopters, and I'm going to explain the psychology of all of this. But the Google Trends for Bitcoin, we haven't seen the peak FOMO yet that we saw back in 2021. So hold on to your hats, because when that happens, those prices, those Ethereums, those Solanas in your bags, they're all going to pump. Now then, Vanguard, we mentioned not too long ago, they didn't set up a Bitcoin ETF, and they weren't going to sell Bitcoin ETFs either. They weren't going to sell the BlackRock one. Why? Eric points it out, they're just not into commodities. They don't look at commodities in the same way you and I do. What's a commodity? Oil, gold, Bitcoin is seen as a commodity. It's an asset that doesn't generate revenue on its own necessarily. So gold doesn't generate a yield by holding it. Oil doesn't generate a yield by holding it, but the price action does move. Bitcoin is the same, it's proof of work. The people that make money out of Bitcoin are, of course, the miners. So Vanguard simply don't hold commodities on their books, and they celebrated their 50th birthday 2 days ago as well. So that's just so you all know why Vanguard, probably what, the second biggest financial institution in the world, they are not offering Bitcoin products, although I think they will cave in at some point and offer some kind of crypto. Good morning, Chris. I hope you're well. Now then, among cryptocurrencies with at least a $2 billion market cap, these projects have seen the highest rises in whale activities compared to the week prior. So these are the coins that the whales are buying. Whales are the ones that buy large percentages of tokens. So they're not buying 10,000, even 100,000 worth of these tokens. They're buying millions. And some of these are interesting. Obviously, wrapped Bitcoin is neither here nor there. That's not really an interesting statistic, but SHIB being third is. Now, MakerDAO, I started to buy that 2 weeks ago. Why? Because they're going to have a token split. Their token is worth $1,500 or thereabouts. They're going to divide it. So each token is worth, I think, 5 cents or 10 cents. They're going to launch a new token. So MakerDAO is potentially up there for that reason. Pepe is there. Ethena is there. These are all stable coins. Dogecoin is there. Optimism is there. So if you want to strip this back to which tokens are people most bullish about, Injective, SHIB, Pepe, Doge, Optimism. They're the ones that whales are optimistic about. Not necessarily me. I don't think I would agree with anything apart from Optimism on this list. But there we go. That's what the whales buy. And the whales buy what they want. Now, we are going to show the return on September at the end in a minute. Michael Dell has sold $1.2 billion in Dell stock. He was the founder. He sold 10 million shares in his second major move this month, fueling rumors of a potential pivot towards Bitcoin. Remember, Michael Dell is bullish on Bitcoin. Why would you sell $1.2 billion worth of stock? You do it for one of two reasons. You expect the stock to go down, or you sell because you're going to buy into an asset that is going to move more. Now, let's put this into context. If we have a super bullish month and Bitcoin moves 30%, he will have made $400 million in a month. Okay? So, in November, are we going to sit here and say, Michael Dell, what a degen, what a legend, he made $400 million in 30 days? Possibly. We've seen Michael Saylor dollar cost average into Bitcoin for 3 years now. Michael Dell buying 1.2. What is it with Michaels? Michael Saylor, Michael Dell, I'm Mike. I don't know what it is. Crypto just likes Mikes. So I think potentially he's going to put some of that into Bitcoin. Maybe he will shock us all and put some of it into Ethereum as well. Who knows? But this is fairly bullish news. Now, just to show you how well we've done in September, I predicted a 5% retracement. I said we would be going in to October at about $58,000, $59,000, and we're clear of that. We're at 64. So this is the chart that I brought up at the start of September, and I'm bringing it up again now. This is the monthly returns of Bitcoin by month, by year. If you look down the September column, which is this one here, you will see it's normally Rectember. Apart from 2023, for the last 6 consecutive years, Bitcoin has been punched on the nose every year, except we've just put in a 7.3% positive green month. Now, every time we have had a green September, we have had 3 green months. 2023, 2016, 2015. We've had October, November, and December green. Last year, we had October, November, and December green. Is this going to repeat? Look at 2020, 4 years ago. If we're in the 4-year cycle, look at 2020 as well. Green, green, green. What are we expecting for October? 25%? 20%? What's your final offer? Where are we going to go? I'll get to you in a second, Peter. Listen, if we do the average, and let's not take the 47% average of November, let's look at the median. If we do 20% in October, where does that put Bitcoin? 74,000. If we do 10% in October, where does that put us? Let's say 81,000. If we do 4% in December, where does that put us? 84,000. Where has the Oracle told you that Bitcoin is going to be by the end of the year? $84,000. Confluence, looking at the same thing in different ways, and the numbers add up. 84,000 is his target for the end of the year. Mine is a more conservative 80, and we're at 60. What are we now? 64. So even I'm not talking about a massive pump. I'm not even talking about a 20-30% pump. I'm talking about, what's that, a 25% move over the next 3 months. So I think we're going to be at 80. The Oracle, who is going to be more right than me, has gone for 84. So we've had a surprisingly good September. The best September on record. It beat 2016. I don't know what to say. I am not quite flabbergasted by how positive Bitcoin has been, but we were looking down and we had a sudden reversal mid-month, so that puts it into context. Right, let me read a couple of these messages before we look at the liquidations. They still believe in rubbish coins. What a joke. Good morning, Mags. I hope you are well. I don't think Ponky, Popcat and other half-decent memes won't do well because people buy the rubbish ship and Pepe. Now, the thing is with, like I said, I've got my 3 picks. Brett, which has a decent price. I think it's 9 cents. Popcat is now just over $1. That's a solid one. And I think that Mu is half a cent or 0.6 cents. So it's got a reasonable market cap. A reasonable circulating supply. I think there's two ways to look at things. Psychologically, if you can go and buy 1 million tokens for $10, you're going to feel really bullish. That's why a lot of people don't necessarily buy Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is $64,000, and the majority of people who aren't educated in crypto think they have to buy a whole one, the same way you have to buy a whole share. And it's our job to tell them that they can buy Satoshis. Go and buy 30,000 Satoshis. Go and buy 20,000 Satoshis. That's our job. In crypto, you're always going to see the likes of SHIB and Pepe do well, because people will go, I can't believe I've bought 1 million Pepe for $100. And you're always going to get that type of people. But we're going to talk about adoption in a minute. And you need everybody, Peter. You need everybody. You need people that look at the metrics and understand, and you need the people that haven't got an idea. That's why I picked Artificial Superintelligence, ASI. I picked that coin because when people see their app and they go, I've heard of Bitcoin, I've heard of Ethereum, but I need to get an AI coin. And they go down the list, and what they're going to see, render, near, they're not going to really understand that. Then they're going to see artificial superintelligence. So which coin are they going to buy based on nothing but the name? They're going to buy ASI. The same way that people who go to the horse races and bet on the black horses or the grey horses or anything but the brown horses, it's the same mentality. They have an idea that they know what they're doing, and they just play along with it. It doesn't mean your bags aren't going to pump, because the second that they see Ponke go up 25%, they're going to go and buy Ponke. As soon as Mu goes up 30%, they're going to go and buy Mu. They will chase the tornado. And this is the same tornado I've been telling you about for 2 years to not chase. If you have a bag of Ponke and it's worth $500 and it suddenly becomes $5,000, I would personally take $2,000 off the table. I'm 4x up and I've still got 6x worth of the token in my bags, because it will retrace. It will come back down because retail will buy. Degens will sell into retail, the price will correct to the downside, and then you go and buy more if it does retrace. And it will normally retrace 20%, 30% as well. So you've got to be careful. We want these people that will just buy coins coming out of their wazoo. That's what we want. Right, crypto liquidations hit 200 million. I kind of covered this yesterday, but it was still happening while we were covering it. So there's $200 million in liquidations. We got to 64,000. I've got the targets, which I told you about yesterday, that I'm going to go through in a minute after this. Now, 200 million worth of liquidations. It's a drop in the ocean. This isn't a sea of blood, 200 million. This is an average day in crypto. We've seen days of $1.1 billion worth of liquidations on here, $900 million worth of liquidations, $200 million, neither here nor there. So we got to 66. We had what you could call a rejection. We've come back down. We've wicked down to the levels that I've suggested. Then shorts got liquidated a little bit. I think we've recovered overnight. I think we were 63.4 when I went to sleep. Then I woke up, we're at 64. So we have had the recovery. So 69,000 traders had their positions liquidated. Or I don't like this. It's slightly unfair. I would say that traders with 69,000 positions were liquidated, because traders don't tend to have one position. You will have people that will have long-term longs in place, then maybe short-term shorts or short-term other longs in place. So it's a bit unfair to say 69,000 traders got wiped out. They didn't. 69,000 positions got wiped out. But October is here, and that's what we want to know. The upbeat mood may be down. To the fact that with hours to go, September looked poised to end up more than 7%. It was. So we are happy, and we've seen these charts. Everything looks good. for October and November and December. Now, the only warning I will give you, what do we always say? When we expect Bitcoin to go up, what happens? It goes down. And when we expect Bitcoin to go down, we go up. I remember we were going down towards 50,000 and a few people were saying that it's over for crypto. Crypto's finished. It's dead. And, you know, down here, people were in absolute panic mode that it was going to go to $20,000. And I said at the time, 2 or 3 weeks it takes to go up after it taking a week and a half to go down. So if it takes us 2 weeks to go down, it takes us 3 weeks to go up. What happened? This was a weak pump to the upside. This, for me, wasn't the lower high because we never got there. We came too low. So on the other end of the scale, what happened? We got rejected. Now, if we bring this line down here to be the wick, okay, we got to the wick. Did we not? We wicked directly to the full candle. Now, I don't know how significant that is. Maybe it's not significant at all. But that's what we did. Now, the other thing to bear in mind is I told you yesterday that we needed to hold 62,855. That's what I said we needed to hold. Now, you're going to have to zoom in a long way to see the gap between where I told you we were going to go and where we went, because they're actually dead on. And my line was wrong, by the way. When you zoom into this level, my line was wrong. My line is actually there, which is 62.9. However, I'm going to claim moral victory because we came down to where I said we needed to wick down to. So if there was a correction yesterday, I said we would come down to 2 prices. I said we would come down to 62.8 or come down to 61.1. And at this moment in time, we wicked down to 62.8, 63. Why is that so significant? Because in other occasions, now if you take this one for example, we came up, down, up and down. Now there is a good chance, okay, that this is this, okay? This is by all means possible. This is what I'm saying, that Pumptober doesn't necessarily begin on the 1st of October. There is a good chance that we come up over the next few days, maybe to the 6th or the 7th, and we start to wick back up towards 67,000 and we get rejected at 67,000. And then what happens is we come down here. There is a distinct possibility that that can happen. Again, nothing has to play out as it has played out in the past. We know things rhyme. We know things don't necessarily replicate themselves. I want to be a bit more positive and say that we've come down to test the bull market support band, and we are going to do that. That's what I want to say. And that, for me, is a big tick. That's what I wanted. And I said it all the way down there. When we were down here, I said we need to come back above the bull market support band, test it, and then use it like a trampoline to send us higher. If we hold, then yes, we can have a crack at 68,000. Not the end of the world, but again, if we get rejected at something like 67,000, we could come down here. There's lots of people talking about us coming to 60,000. I think even KB, who comes into chat, he said that I think we're going to see 60,000. Nobody's going to be absolutely spot on, because if they were, they'd be a billionaire. We can only go off the patterns that we've had. We got rejected at 67. We've come down. We've found support, bull market support band. Today is jobs data. So this is an important day for us. Yesterday was Chairman Powell. Today is jobs data. I think something like that. We're back at 64,000. Considering what's gone on over the last, I don't know, 3 months, Germany, Mt. Gox, I think we've done pretty well. Right, let me get some comments while this is loading. Let's make a friendly bet. If I lose, I will sing Manchester theme tune. But if you lose, you sing You'll Never Walk Alone. My pick is Aero and your pick Jupiter. See which one will move more. Now, again, okay, I've got a larger market cap than yours. So why don't we look at the amount of value that each goes up by? So if Aero is, I don't know, 300 million and you go to 3 billion, that's 2.7 billion in your favor. If my project goes from 700 million to 4 billion, I'm up 3.3 billion. So I would win based on the market cap. I think that's fair, because if you do an X, you could just go and pick a $50 million coin, and if it does a 20X, you're never going to win. So Donald Trump again. Now, let's just make one thing very clear. It's very apparent that Kamala is not going to win this election. She's losing more badly than anyone has ever lost an election, and she can't answer a simple question. Kamala was asked, how are you going to bring down the cost of goods? She talked about her upbringing and living with construction workers. Donald Trump was asked, how do you bring down the price of goods? Donald Trump said, I will target the cost of energy, and I will bring the cost of energy down by 50% within 12 months. Everything is connected to the price of energy. Now, whether you agree economically with the targeting of energy or not, it's a coherent, straightforward answer to the question. Kamala Harris has never answered that question. She wants to tax more. That's her answer. Donald Trump's answer is to bring the cost of energy down. Now, if you bring the cost of energy down, transportation costs go down, lighting goes down, heating goes down, people have got more money in their pockets. What do people do with more money in their pockets? They spend it. We just have to look at the pandemic to see what happened there. People spend money that they have in their pockets, they don't save. So you put more money in their pockets, they will spend more, the economy will bounce. Okay? Donald Trump has an answer. Kamala Harris doesn't have an answer. Trade tariffs, she accused Donald Trump of randomly carpeting tariffs rather than being specific. No, Donald Trump said to China, we will tax you 30% of everything you import if you don't play by the rules. That's what he said. Now, I know which one I would rather have at a negotiating table, and it wouldn't be Kamala Harris either. But I'm not American. I'm just looking at this from the outside. So as far as I can see, that's a positive. What isn't a positive is this. Launching a DeFi platform called World Liberty Finance is great for crypto because he's going to pass all the crypto laws under the sun. It's great for crypto. But there's a massive conflict of interest between the leader of the free world and his family running a finance platform in crypto. And I cannot believe that the Democrats haven't gone after this, because this is his Achilles heel. What happens if World Liberty Finance loses everybody all their money? It's going to look back bad on Trump. So why is he doing it? Is it greed? Is it stupidity? He's not a stupid man, he's a wily man. So why is he doing it? Now, this was launched yesterday. I went to the platform. You've got to put your email address in. Now, this isn't anything new, by the way. World Liberty Finance is a rewrap of an existing company that didn't do too well, and they've rewrapped it as World Liberty Finance. He then went to 91 million followers on X and told them about it. Again, I don't agree with this at all. He might be the best of the two candidates, but it doesn't make him a genius. I promise to make America great again, this time with crypto. Signing up for the platform is only available to accredited investors in the US and non-US. However, it said it's not turning its back on regular US investors. The whitelist is open. Now, we know what's going to happen. Trump's going to come in and he's going to repeal the law on accredited investors and allow non-accredited investors to invest in crypto, for example. That's what he's going to do, but it's for his own family benefit. And this is where I've got a massive problem with it. If we've got issues at the minute with Keir Starmer in the UK, he has allegedly done things which he shouldn't have done. He knew that he was going to be the leader of the Labour Party. He knew one day he would be the Prime Minister of England. Donald Trump knows he's going to be the President of America. Why are they playing games when their focus should solely be on serving their country? This is a distraction. And anything he does that's pro-crypto is going to be tarred with this brush of World Liberty Finance. We plan for all Americans to be able to use the platform in the future. Again, he will scrap the non-accredited investor policy in America. We're planning to settle and otherwise distribute governance tokens called WLFI in the future. It just sounds like a money grab. And again, I am not a fan of this at all. I'm not a fan of this. I think it's a terrible idea. This is going to bite him on the backside, and it's going to be a shocking thing to do. All the channels in America show Harris. She's got no chance. She's lost the black vote, and she lost it 6 months ago. She's finished. The middle ground who don't like Trump don't like her even more. I think he's won by a landslide. I think he's something like 9 or 10 points clear, which in a two-horse race is vast. All Labour parties are train wreck for economics worldwide. Margaret Thatcher once said something really famous. She said, "It's really easy spending other people's money until you run out of it." And that was aimed at the Labour Party of the time back then in the late 1970s. I think she came in 79. Did she? I think 79. She became the Prime Minister of England because the Falklands was 1981 and she was in power then. So she was right. We had a very socialist government in the UK. And the problem is you can have a fair distribution of wealth. That is totally acceptable. And a company should pay their fair amount of tax. Employees should be given rights. They should be paid. I agree with all of that. And it can swing too much one way or another. But again, Tim Wise has had 30 trips to China in the last few years. And the DOJ, Department of Justice, have submitted evidence that he is in trouble for his affiliations. I'm not going to say any more about that. So that is real far left. And I'm not saying Trump is really far right either, but I think in politics we've polarized so far that there's no room for discussion. And I think it's a shame. Arbitrum. My favorite headline of the day is Arby or Barbie. Come on, that's the best headline of the day, surely. We like that one, don't we? Arbitrum breaks 1 billion transaction threshold. Nearly 20% of traffic is DeFi traffic. Again, when we talk about the layer 2s, I always say that they need to have their own unique reason to live, reason to survive. Now, when you go look at Cosmos, which has, I don't know, 30, 40 different blockchains, they're all very similar. The difference with layer 2s is, if you said to me, what is Polygon doing now? I would say ZK rollups and the AG layer, and you'd know that. If you said, what does Optimism do? I would say they've become an incredible base code for other projects to launch their own blockchain. So, for example, Base is running on the OP SDK. If you said, what is Arbitrum? It's now becoming clear that it's the DeFi layer 2 of Ethereum. So they're all getting their own personalities, which is what you need. It's a bit like if you go and listen to 10 different bands and you don't know the names of any of them and they all sound the same, you're probably never going to listen to any one of them ever again. But if somebody comes on stage and they're rock, somebody comes on stage and they're folk, someone comes on stage and they're music, you're going to go with the one that you like the most. And if you are into DeFi, Arbitrum's the chain for you. If you're into a coin that's going kind of head to head in some ways with Chainlink, then you would go for Polygon. Optimism has its own niche in building out this base code that's going to bring more people to Ethereum. But this is quite big news. 1 billion transactions, and it's not that old a chain. So it's pretty good. Nearly 18% went to DeFi activities based on Grow the Pi data. It's among the most active layer 2 chains and has a relatively early arrival. It started off as a VC-backed network, ended up drawing the bulk of layer 2 traffic. The L2 rollup is also considered decentralized and has been singled out by Vitalik Buterin. He sang a poem. At the recent, was it Tokyo 2049? What is Vitalik doing? He needs, I'm sorry to say, he needs to be side-roomed. He needs to be put in a room with a computer and allowed to be a genius. He should not be front of stage. You do not put your eccentric chef as the front of house in a restaurant, do you? No, you have them back there making their magic, and then you get a more sensible, professional looking frontman to appear at the front of your restaurant. Because certainly if I walked into a restaurant and Vitalik is singing me a poem, I'm walking straight back out. And that's what he's doing. I don't get him. I don't get why he thinks it's a good idea to sing lullabies on stage in front of professionals. So they got 1 billion. Fantastic. In fact, 1.001 billion transactions, in fact. The transactions look more organic. Now, again, there's a lot of argument about this. Solana is accused of faking its numbers and faking its transactions. And lots of chains do the same thing where they will run bots on their chains to pump the numbers. It's just a scam at the end of the day when we don't like that. Arbitrum is only surpassed by Base, where traffic is driven by meme tokens, micropayments, and low-value transactions, which is... There's nothing better than a chart that doesn't tell you what we're looking at. Anyway, forget that then. So, Arbitrum has seen 2.6 billion of inflows from Ethereum. 25% was dedicated to bridging the stablecoins over there. Aave version 3 is 30% of the TVL on Arbitrum. It's attracted 3.3 billion in liquidity. And again, this is looking solid. I think Tariq mentioned a couple of times. I think Tariq mentioned it. At the top layer 2s are Polygon, Optimism, and Arbitrum. They're the top layer 2s. My favorite is Polygon. I will always say that. I hold a fraction of Optimism and I hold a slightly bigger bag of Polygon. But it doesn't mean I can't change my mind and I can flip. Arbitrum is putting in these numbers. And again, yeah. Now, this is something that you might want to be careful about, Peter. And I mentioned this. Let's bring the chart up. The problem with Arbitrum is it dumped 74% of its current circulating supply on the market in one time. And the price absolutely tanked. And I made reference to it at the time that it could possibly happen. So if we go back here, this isn't Arbitrum. Is it called Arby, I think? Is it this one? So, as far as I'm aware, this was when they dumped the supply. And it's absolutely tanked ever since. Now, again, 62 cents for a coin that is doing these numbers gives it, let's see what the market cap is. Let's go and do a little bit of a deep dive. Can we actually look up L2s? Let's have a quick look. Is there a section? There's no section for L2s. Now, I can't really go to Arbitrum because it will absolutely kill this machine. So very quickly, I'm going to bring it up. 2.2 billion market cap. That is tiny, but also very decent. So for me, I think Arbitrum could be a good play at 62 cents. Anything below $1, which was... I've got a chart of it somewhere, but I can't find it right now. I didn't think I was going to bring it up. I think 62 cents for Arbitrum is a good price. But again, if they keep unlocking and keep unlocking, it's going to push the price further and further down. So if it's only got a 45% circulating supply, you might want to scratch that off your list of coins to buy. I'm not going to buy it now or today. I'm going to buy that coin when I think the market has turned and I think that their token unlocking has got to the point where it's sustainable. If you go back 3 or 4 years to look at Matic's APR was 15 or 18%. It was ridiculous. Now it's 5%. So that's matured. If Arbitrum are still unlocking 20%, 10% of the circulating supply every year, of the total supply every year, it's just going to smash your price. So no matter how good that project looked then, 62 cents could be a good buy because we're going into the bull run. But you need to go and do some research about the unlocks, basically to see if it's going to happen between now and the end of next year. And if it does, how much is going to unlock. Let me very quickly have a check of chat. Aero will more X than Jupiter. Aero might more X than Jupiter, but we're talking about the market cap. I've already taken a bet out with somebody actually yesterday. I took a bet out, Bay City Radio, whatever it was called. I said that XRP would go higher than $1.50 in the bull run, but that all depends on October the 8th. So I said we'd take the bet on October the 10th. If you want to bet that Jupiter's market cap won't increase by size by more than Aero's, I will take that bet. And I will give you one Jupiter if you win, and you give me one Aero if you win. So Athena Network, proposal introduces a native DEX. Now again, Athena, is that the one with its own stable coin where it's paying 18%? Or am I thinking of a different coin? So Ethereal decentralized exchange would be directly integrated into the Athena reserve management with 15% government token allocation to ENA holders. Now this is pretty sexy and exciting. It is indeed. Okay. So this USDE is an algorithmic stablecoin as far as I'm aware. And it was paying 18%. Let me just go and check that. May have dropped by now. Let's go and check. Let's not go and click. Yeah, so basically, they've got a stable coin paying 20%. The last time somebody had a stable coin that paid 20%, it was USDC and it was Luna and it crashed and it brought the entire market down. I don't believe there is anywhere you can get a sustainable APR on US dollars of more than maybe 10 or 12%. That's it. Now, if they can get 20% sustainable, brilliant, go for it. But it's very dangerous in a bear market. So in a bull market, when everything's going up in value, fine. When we're in a bear market and everything's losing value, it will depeg and they won't have the sufficient funds to repeg it. So I am very, very concerned about any stablecoin that is not backed by the dollar. So you will see Tether and Circle having to provide proof of reserves, proof of deposits. Anything that's backed by Bitcoin and Ethereum is great when the price goes up. But if the price comes down and you've got $10 billion of USDE and $7 billion of Bitcoin, then in reality, your dollar is worth 70 cents. So I do not, I said that in my video as well. I'm not a fan of it. It's got a $2.5 billion market cap. Now, just to put that into context, if they're paying 20% APR, they're paying out $500 million a year. $40 million a month they are paying out. It doesn't add up. Athena Labs acknowledged the proposal and will put it for a snapshot. Athena's ENA rallied 6%, potentially catalyzed by the proposal and the potential ethereal airdrop. It went as high as 42 cents, a 15% rally, and it has returned again. I wouldn't touch this with a barge pole, but what is pretty exciting is the fact that they're launching a new DEX, and DEXs aren't bad. And again, something to bear in mind, the ENA token is going to run, if that DEX is launched, And then that revenue goes back into their flywheel and the ENA token will be worth more. So if you hold ENA token, then I would say it's a fairly good bet that it's going to go up in value when the DEX is launched. My issue isn't with the ENA token directly, it's with this. The USDE, the last time I checked, which was 3 months ago, it was backed by Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a few other things. And I am not a huge fan of that. Not a huge fan of that at all. It has to be massively over collateralized for me. So for example, for every dollar of USDE, you'd need about $3 of Bitcoin. So you'd need $7.5 billion of Bitcoin to collateralize that $2.5 billion, just to take into account a 60% drop. Now then, let's see. You sold your ARB at 186. That is a really good sell, Mags. I hope it was my warning that got you 186 on ARB, because I did say at the time dropping 74% of the supply is going to bring the price down, and we haven't seen $2 or even $1 since, have we? We've come straight through. So good trade there, sir. Right, XRP price hits strongest weekly close. What to expect? Again, for those of you out there that doubt XRP, you are doubting Thomas's. You are all allowed your own opinion, except when that opinion is clearly wrong, such as the fact that Peter supports the Liverpool Football Club. That is clearly a sign of some kind of mental problem. Maybe it's the sun in Australia has got to him. Right then, let's have a quick look at the price. Actually, let's go to the weekly chart, actually. There we go. Now, let's go and read what we are saying. I mean, it's so much of a stable coin, isn't it? I mean, that is a stable coin. In 2 years, it's gone from 33 to 63. I suppose it's gone up 80%, but still. Anyway, what are we expecting from XRP? It's put a 6-month high in, 64 cents. What are we today? 63 cents, not far off the article price. It has minted. This is what I was also talking about yesterday. The stablecoin market. Peter hates XRP. Well, I don't know what to say to that, Peter. I spoke yesterday about the fact that stablecoins are massive money makers. And I even showed you on DeFi Llama yesterday how much money Circle and Ripple are making. They're making a fortune. Now, the reason stablecoins make money is if you have $1 billion in stablecoins and you back it with $1 billion, you don't keep the $1 billion in cash. You can put it into US treasuries. So you make $50 million a year off the bat. Now, if you get to 10 billion, you're making $500 million a year. So, just to put that into context of how much these stable coins are making, Tether has $120 billion in stable coins, probably all held with the US government in one way, shape, or form. So they are making $6 billion a year just from holding the revenue, the US dollar, okay? On top of the fees that they're charging for using their coin, transaction fees, whatever. So $6 billion a year, $500 million a month they're making, Tether. Circle is 35 billion. So what's that? $1.7 billion a year they're making. So that's $100 million, $120 million, $130 million a month. Now, that's, again, an awful lot of money. Now, ask yourself the question, which two new up-and-coming projects are trying to tap into this action? We've just seen Athena, which is a $2.5 billion market cap. We've seen PayPal, PYUSD. Now, I don't know if PYUSD is going to be on here, but we can have a quick look. Yes, it is. So, what's the market cap of that? $707 million. So they're making $35 million a year out of their stablecoin. And it only just started. So now that we've seen this, and we are talking about Ripple, who owns XRP, let's get back to basics. Your job is to make money. Your company's job, is to make money, and lots of it. XRP are aiming at creating CBDCs, stablecoins, cross-border payments, bank integrations, same-day, instantaneous transactions. That's it. That's what they're aiming to do. They minted 350,000 in stablecoins over the weekend. This is the absolute key moment in defining Ripple for the bull run. This is the reason why. If on October the 6th, the SEC do not appeal, then Ripple and XRP is going to go somewhere between $3 and $5 at the end of this bull run. And it will never come back down again. It will come down to maybe $1. I don't mean it will never come down. It will never come down to 30 cents. As Peter points out, this isn't really a crypto company. It's not decentralized. It's not got proof of work. It doesn't even have proof of stake. It's basically a private company that's going to IPO that has a token for banks. If you think about it logically, it could never be decentralized, and it could never not have a central body in charge of it because the banks wouldn't trust it. So you have to treat it as a money-making business. Now, if Ripple gets a $10 billion stablecoin up and running, that will be making them $500 million a year. Now, I am interested in 4 or 5 years' time, when all of these projects around crypto start to go bust, which they will do because they're all going to run out of money, and you look at your portfolio, and you need to be able to tell me what in your portfolio makes money. Does Ethereum make money? Yes. Does Solana make money? Yes. Will Aero, Jupiter, Radium, Orca, Uniswap, PancakeSwap, will they make money? Yes. What about your crazy Deepin project, your crazy Deepin ape, where they're spending $1 million a month to get the project off the ground? Are they making money yet? Because if they're not, what's their runway? So when you look at companies like Ripple, and bear in mind, just bear this in mind, they are the 6th largest cryptocurrency. They've already got a $35 billion market cap for their token. When they run, and they will run, they are the largest private crypto company in the top 10. They are going to make a fortune. Billions and billions of dollars a year will be going into their coffers. And that XRP token, when DeFi is launched, when they create their own platform for staking and introduce proof of stake, the token is not going to be at 63 cents. And there is no way to look at this where you don't come to the conclusion that XRP is a $3, $4, $5 coin. There's no other way to look at it because it's wholly undervalued because of the SEC case. Now, do I like it? No. Do I hold it because it's going to make money? Yes. However, if on October the 6th, the SEC appeal, it is screwed for this bull run. And we are going to be talking about 2029, and you're going to have to wait 3 years, 2 years for it, because it's going to have missed the boat. So it's at 64 cents, pretty good going, 6% increase in 24 hours. The reason it's going up is people, we don't need to read any more about this, people are expecting, very simply, that the SEC are going to jack it all in. Now, unlike lots of coins, like Ethereum, I think Solana as well, which are under the bull market support band, I showed you Bitcoin before and I said it needed to test, and it has done. Okay, now it's come up to a pretty critical level, which is about here, 66 cents. Now, this is, I don't want to call it worrying, but this has spent all of this year and the end of last year trying to break that level, and it hasn't done. So October the 6th, let's put another line in here. We like lines. Okay, let's put that line in there. Right, that's the date. that we have to get to. Let's go to the daily now. That's the date that we have to get to. And one of two things is going to happen. This coin is going to go to here. Then the SEC appeal, and we are going to come down probably in that direction. If XRP wins, we're going to go up in that direction. It is fairly binary. Okay, this is one of the most binary things we can have at this moment in time, because I can't tell you the price of Bitcoin in December, but I can tell you that on October the 6th, XRP is not going to be at 63 cents. It's going to be at 96 cents, or it's going to be at 40 cents, 35 cents. I can't tell you which, because it's up to the SEC to appeal. Some people are saying they're never going to appeal. Other people are saying that the Ripple are going to counter appeal, all this kind of stuff. Nobody knows, do they? Nobody knows. Right then, we're going to move on very quickly. I'm going to show you two things. This is nothing really to do necessarily with a coin. This is what I was telling Mags about. And this is to do with adoption. Let's make sure, right, that one should be loading, perfect. And this one needs to load again. Give me a second. Okay, so as of this year, 6.8% of the population held crypto. That's 560 million people held crypto. 6.8%. That's the number to remember. So for every, what's that? 6.8. So for every 10 million people, 380,000. For every million people, 38,000. It's not a lot, is it, at the end of the day? So I found this really nice article to go through because I wanted to show you the S-curve. Now, we've got three things that we talk about on here. Yeah, exactly, Peter. It is like betting black or red. The XRP case, I wouldn't be longing or shorting XRP for the next week, and I wouldn't be buying XRP for the next week. I would wait until the 7th. And I know that if it's a positive outcome, the price will already be at 90 cents, but it will go to 90 cents and then it will run to $3 to $5 in the bull run. However, if it tanks to the downside and it goes to 30 or 40 cents again, I'm not sure that's the time to buy either, because you're going to miss the bull run. So if you put $1,000 into XRP at 35 cents now, it's going to be 35 cents, 40 cents by the end of next year, because the case is just going to drag on. You'd be better off putting your money into TON, into Solana, into AVAX, into any other major coin, because they're going to multiply, hopefully multiply, what you've put in. You put $1,000 into AVAX, maybe you come out with $4,000 or $5,000. You put $1,000 into XRP in this bull run, you might come out with $2,000. So you've got to be careful. We're at the stage now where your bags should be packed. You're tweaking your bags. You've left your toothbrush, you need to go and put your toothbrush in, or you forgot your comb, you put your comb in, but your bag should be packed. Your jumpers, your t-shirts, your shoes, your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your Solana should all be in your bag, and you should be ready to go. And if you're Peter, you sell in December, and if you're everybody else, you wait for October next year, or maybe November next year. So this is the important thing to understand about crypto. And what I was also saying to Peter before, right, this is the Bitcoin adoption curve. And we say three things on this channel, do we not? Regulation. We want crypto to be regulated in the UK, America, Asia, Africa, Europe. We want regulation. The second thing we want is adoption, which we're about to talk about now. And the third thing we want is interoperability between chains. Now, adoption, this is the key. You are, and if you've been here for a while, you will be in the early adopters, okay? I think I'm probably in the early adopters, that there isn't a time frame on this. But you are at the beginning of the early majority. These are the people, like Peter, who will look at market caps, who will look at circulating supplies, who will look at the token performance, they will look at the team, and hopefully watch our videos to look at the roadmaps and the white papers and everything else. Now, by the time we get to the late majority and the laggards, they will have no care in the world for what a white paper is. They will have no care in the world for tokenomics or the circulating supply or the market caps. They don't care. We've seen it in the last 2 bull runs. People just buy anything. Like Dogecoin is still hanging around. SHIB got to 36 billion. Those people will buy your bags. So when you leave in November next year and you sell your bags and you leave crypto for a year or 2, these late majority laggards, these are the ones that come in and buy your bag. You think, for example, that Ondo is cheap at 80 cents because it got to $1.20. They're going to come and buy your Ondo off you for $5, $6, $7, $8, and they're not going to care about it. They're going to say, oh, I bought 100 Ondo for $800. I know, I really believe in real world assets. Or they're going to buy 100 ASI tokens for $500. Oh yeah, ASI, it's the future, isn't it? AI is the future. You just see those dogs running around fields, AI. That's the stage that we're going to get to. And the people that are going to talk to you about crypto and become the experts on crypto and tell you and give you advice on crypto, you scratch the surface and they will have no idea. Okay, they'll have no idea. They won't know who Vitalik Buterin is. They won't know who Michael Saylor is. They won't know who Anatoly is. They won't know any of these people. They don't care. They want to buy their $5,000 Ethereum and their $100,000 Bitcoin. The same way that people go out and buy a Maserati or a Ferrari or a Rolls Royce because their perceived value is Bitcoin is $100,000 and it's going to $1 million. Or Ethereum is $10,000, it's going to go to $50,000 because some guy on the TV told me so. Or Rich Dad Poor Dad told me it was going to $1 million. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to remortgage my house. So you are at the beginning of this S-curve. And you are early adopters, early majority. Okay, now remember that number I told you about, which was 5.8%? It shows you here that 10% is the early adopters. So where that number of 5.8 disagrees with this is I think you're probably in the early adopters still. I think you're at the end of the early adopters. And that's quite a thing to be because you've adopted crypto faster than 95% of the world. You walk down a street in your local town and probably 1 or 2 people that you pass will hold crypto. That's it. And I guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, in 20 years' time, people will have pensions and portfolios that will have 1 or 2 or 3% in Bitcoin. I'm not saying they're going to own Ponke, they're going to own Ondo. I'm certainly not going to say that because that's not going to happen. They will own Bitcoin. And suddenly you're 1 in 10 or 1 in 100 people that are walking down the street that hold Bitcoin suddenly becomes 60 or 70 or 80% of people hold Bitcoin. But here's the trick. Half of them aren't even going to know they've got Bitcoin in their portfolio or their pension fund. They're just going to have a pension fund. That's where Bitcoin is going to get to. It's going to become an invisible appreciating asset in the majority of people's lives. The people that use the internet today, 90% of people who use the internet today have no idea how it works. And you know what? They don't care. They watch TV, they go on the internet, they don't care how things work. And who should blame them? They don't need to know about routers and data centers and undersea cables and all this kind of nonsense. They don't care. They're not going to care about Bitcoin. They are not going to care. But what is going to make a difference is that Bitcoin will appreciate in value over time and it will become an inflation hedge in their portfolio, the same way they hold gold. So this is what I wanted to show Mags, because sometimes crypto is also very isolating as well. You could be the only person in your village that knows anything about crypto. You've got nobody to talk to about it. And sometimes you need a reality check on why that is. And this is the reason, because you are before everybody else. The same way, if you connected up to the internet in 1997 or 1998 like I did, everybody would have told you at the time that the internet isn't going to make it. It's useless. What's the point of the internet? It's all a scam. Does that sound familiar? Because that's exactly what you're being told 25 years later. It won't be that way. By the time we get to the laggards, you're going to sit there in your family meals and everybody's talking about how good they've done on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Just smile. Don't say I told you so. Just smile, because your bags are going to be 10, 20, 50 times larger than they are today because your family bought and pumped your bags. So smile and appreciate the fact that they did that. Now, I'm going to cut the stream in a couple of places for 1 minute until I go through a few things. 70% of people only know the top 3 coins. That's correct. For me to make max possible profit, should I sell most of the coins and swap into Aero, Mantra, Radium and Sol and go hard with these 4? Will I profit more? You should always have, I would say, at least 8 tokens in your portfolio. Right, here's a thing. If Aero crashes because the CEO leaves, then you've got a problem. If Mantra has a delay of 3 to 6 months, then you have a problem. Radium and Sol aren't going to have a problem, but those two will. So if you sell to 4 tokens, then your risk goes to 25% per token if you've got an equal split. If you've got 8 tokens, then you have a 12.5% risk per token if you have a split. So although it's wise to have a small portfolio, your portfolio can be too small. And if Aero has a problem, look at Gala. The CEO and the founder sued each other and it wrecked the coin. Now, you couldn't have seen that coming. So a Black Swan event, when you've got 4 tokens, is more damaging than a Black Swan event when you have 8 tokens. Because if you lose 1 token and it doesn't perform well, that's only 12%. If you lose 1 token and you've got 4, that's a 25% underperformance. Solana might go to $600. That's only a 4x. Okay, so that's probably going to happen, minimum. Radium is likely to do maybe a 10x, so that's a solid one. I can't see that going anywhere. But Mantra is still more speculation than deliverables, even though it's going live. Aero should have a superb bull run because we looked at it yesterday, it makes so much money. But be careful narrowing it down to 4, that's all I would say. Right, I'm just going to turn a couple of streams off. Don't go anywhere. If you are gone, goodbye. And if you're not, wait there for a second. Right then. Okay, this is why I have turned 2 of the streams off and left Binance and YouTube. Tonight, in 7 hours' time, we will be doing a giveaway. I should really probably spell over correctly, shouldn't I? Give me a second. We will be giving away, I don't know what it is, $50 or $60 in tokens. We are going to be giving away Moon Token, Push, Ari and Peak. We're going to review 4 projects. It's 7 o'clock, 7 hours from now. We're going to spend about 10 or 15 minutes on each token. Then we're going to do the giveaway at the end. We're going to try and do it in an hour, but you know us, it'll probably go to an hour and 15 minutes. If you want to take part and you're not interested in the streams, if you're an OG, you're a paid up OG, you are automatically entered. So the likes of Kishan and Mags, you're automatically in. If you're not, you have to go to the stream, type in a woo or coo or whatever we've told you to do, and then you will be entered into the stream. If you win and you're not watching, you need to watch back to make sure you've won. We had 7 winners last week. 3 people never claimed the prize. If you win tonight, you have until Sunday to claim. So if you don't make the stream or you make the start and you miss the end, go and watch the last 15 minutes to see if you've won. And if you have, you've got to message me on Telegram and then I'll send you the winnings, whatever. So that is in 7 hours. Thank you everybody for watching. I will see you all tonight. I will not see you tomorrow. I am having the day off. It is my birthday, so I am not streaming tomorrow. But I will see you tonight, and then I will see you on Thursday. Thank you for the questions, Peter. Oh, Mags, it's my reality. I live in a village. No one knows about crypto, and I can't talk to anybody about it. I know, Mags. There's a lot of people like that. And also, that's one of the reasons that we stream on Christmas Day and New Year's Day as well, because some people who live in villages or places or towns around the world, they don't live with anybody, and it's Christmas Day and it's New Year's Day, and they're both a little bit depressing if you're on your own. So we did it last year. We streamed on Christmas Day and New Year's Day last year. We're going to do the same thing this year. It'll be an early stream, maybe 10 o'clock on both days, but we are going to plan to stream both days this year as well. So thank you, Tariq. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Mags. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'll see you all tonight with the Oracle.